have? So it has the alerting module, which can be oops, there we go. Let's wait for that to load. So through the alerting module, you can have it set so that whenever there is an alert of a specific level, or a specific criteria is met, then you can. Oh, I did want my credentials, but let's see, the whole system went asleep. You will be able to create cases that can be acknowledged. Okay, so let's go ahead and refresh this and try and see what's going on with my system. I think my internet was not back from lunch yet. Well, okay, so that type, the alerting module will give you that ability to create cases that you can then focus on or not, right? So, and you do mention, yeah, you have that. If you want a better case management or incident management, then you can integrate Wazuh with tools like PagerDuty, Jira, the Hive, which is not open source anymore, but there are open source incident case management tools out there. Actually, I was looking into, for example, the installation of Security Onion, and that provided a place where, well, it includes many different tools, but specifically Wazuh doesn't include the plugin, but it does provide the ability for you to click in the interface and just sort of open a case directly from it, right? Currently, the way that we work is, well, you can create an incidence based on an automatic incidence on a ticketing platform using the integrator daemon like Jira and other things. Let's see if my system is back for it. Oh no, that's the wrong password. There we go. Okay. Let's get to that. Okay, so then I'll show how the alerting module can help you do that. Okay, so yeah, having been introduced to the Hive, okay, right. Okay, so in that case, I will have to say that I've seen people use the Hive. I've seen people use Jira for ticketing and PagerDuty, and that's about it. I haven't seen anybody do anything a bit more complex than that. So yeah, follow up to question number one, and I did, since Zoom removed the lines, he did add it here. So in that sense, yeah, if the Hive is being too little, then of course alerting will be even less, because this one's just going to allow you to, generate cases right here and acknowledgement, and that's it. Not even add more comments or add more information to them. So, yeah, I'm afraid I don't know of any other particular tool. Maybe somebody else can help with that, but I do not. Yeah, I'm not sure if there will be another tool that will fit more your use case, where you have multiple users or multiple environments, and you want to be able to both view them separately and individually. Okay. For a better idea of what indexers to use, we'd like to ask, what's the approximate difference in performance between OpenSearch and Elasticsearch Enterprise? I haven't seen anything in particular regarding performance, to be honest. Just feature-wise. I would imagine that they're both very similar, considering that OpenSearch has forked from a rather recent version of Elasticsearch, so 7.10.2. Whereas Elasticsearch, it is true that they have already released 8.x. So unless they have significantly improved in that last major version the performance should be somewhat similar. But yeah, I haven't heard, to my knowledge, there isn't any difference, significant difference. Of course, there will be significant difference. There will be some difference in performance. Notably, with OpenSearch, there was this issue with hi Thomas, welcome back, Thomas Schneider. There was this issue with the performance analyzer, a module that would actually, with that name, it was actually impacting on the performance. And normally what we do is we uninstall it, we remove it from the default Wazuh indexer. So that's the only thing I have to say about performance, but really is neither here nor there between the comparison between these two. And then ticket management portal. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, again, I've seen people work with managed engines and do integrations of Wazuh with managed engines. And we may actually have it eventually requested, but I know that it's not in the product yet. So manage, I always forget if it's all without altogether or not. Managed engine integration. It was requested a year and 3 months ago. However, it did not go forward. So that's, service desk, Jira. Yeah, I don't have anything in particular. Normally, these type of things, when you want, actually, this is the other way around, right? When we want to collect logs from managed engines into Wazuh, doing it the other way around to forward alerts. It can be normally very easy to integrate that, to do that type of integration just by copying the existing integrations from PagerDuty or Slack or even that blog post on Jira that we can use for other things. Yeah, I'm afraid the ticket management is normally outside of the scope of what I will see being done, since I normally see them people working either directly with Jira, the one that we have, or not. So all in all, I think it wasn't that many of a question. Sadly, is you seem to know more about ticket management than I do at this point. So the only thing I can say is, well, how Wazuh can, these scripts can be used to integrate, which we're already familiar with. And if not, we also will include a few examples around here. I know that the Hive integration is somewhat simple, the one that was published recently. But it will allow you to push information out there. It is something that we see a lot of our users asking for, right? A good ticket incident management tool. But I don't think it's yet on the roadmap, even though a lot of people ask for it. So this is interesting. I'm not sure why they created a custom script 2020 on 2022, but yeah. I guess I missed that copyright line. But yeah, this is about it. I'm afraid I don't have more info there. I have not seen case management in Kibana, so that would be great actually if to showcase to the team. They used to have. Let's see if they still have it. Demo.elastic.co. Yeah, they do have it. So let me go ahead and see it right now. And although that logo, that looks 7.x. Let's see if they have it online. This is actually quite the dangerous thing to do, to open up an Elasticsearch. But they do it, and I've been asking the team sort of to do it as well. There is not. Okay, there is currently not a public demo environment. We do provide access to our MSSP partners to our above a specific tier, I believe, to our demo environment. However, yeah, in a read-only mode and whatnot. If you look here in the partners, I do believe that's limited to credentials to the demo environment. Well, starting with gold, which I think this is on sales, so I'm a bit lost here. So you get credentials. I mean, the partners get credentials to the to our demo environment. But otherwise, we just found it easier to, create the OBA and let people run it locally, so that they don't run into any issues. I did run into another tool that at some point had, it might have been CM Monster, that they also use Wazuh. They package Wazuh with other things. And I think they had a demo environment. However, more than half of the time it was broken. So, yeah. I don't know if they still do that, but anyway, this is quite nice to test. So yeah, mine must be around here. Well, can I create cases? But it does look very nice. So I will ask the team to look into this. Case management, okay. Well, yeah, currently the only thing that we can do is open up tickets in other tools. And you can also have those tools and come back and create events that you can see. So for example, you can integrate them so that, yeah. Case management, you to see rule and doc line with the related text, and you can add note. That's great. Let's see, maybe wondering where I can click to get it, but yeah. I definitely haven't been into their demo environment for a while now. Can't. Okay. Wazuh. Wazuh. So yeah, I'll add this to the team of the notes. After every training, one of the things that I do is I open up tickets like crazy, issues, because I tend to find silly things like that protocol that we just saw today. And I also then, of course, get feedback, direct feedback to Santiago on the things that were mentioned. And this is actually interesting because I had not gotten such a specific use case with. I've been asked about the integration with the Hive and having it be a little bit further, but not specifically seeing the Kibana case management. So that's we're all amazing Zebra United hero. Yes. Yeah. I mentioned there is an issue there asking of what it means. And the answer is, it's a cheesy answer, really, to be honest. So if you find it, it's don't tell Santiago I said that, but yeah, it's sort of like, we give it, you can give it whatever meaning you have. We have gotten a lot of people tell us, like, in Japanese, something that sounds like Wazuh means wisdom or something like that, or in Chinese. We got several of those, and so we, get a list of them in case somebody asks what it means, and depending on the room temperature, we can say one or the other. So let me see. We had it. Case management, I'm gonna copy that question and paste it over into the channel with several of the development leaders. So yeah, it is a wanted mystery. Yeah, let's keep it at that. It's a wanted mystery. A lot of people also say the wolf was the mascot until very recently, and it is going to be always for some of us. So we do have a lot of Spanish heritage. So I mean, the Wazuh is founded by Santiago, who is from Spain, and originally the team was mostly in Spain. Now we are all over the world, and so some people would say it was like W for wolf, and then azul for almost sounding like how you say blue in Spanish, right? So azul. But yeah, that was another. And there was a time where, we were actively looking for another name to rebrand. Rebranding only got to the luckily it only killed the wolf, not the name. But yeah, it didn't kill it. It lives on in many of us. Okay, so. Long live the wolf. I agree. That's I actually still have this here. So instead of seeing the the question slide, you can see this must have a slideshow option. If not, I'll have to download it and see it again. Actually, it was fun because this is all me. One trip I did to California with the team to talk there, and eventually some other ones added. We have a colleague who is from Western Sahara, so he took the wolf to the Saharan desert, and another colleague took it to Scotland. And yeah, I myself tend to bring it everywhere I go, and take a few fun pictures. Okay, how do we re-inject? That is a great question. Okay, so thank you, Jonathan. So we can do a quick demo of that. So you may remember we had the considerations to take with the alerts.json, that it's that file that's going to be populated there on the manager, and it is going to be kept until you take an action against it, right? So if we go here to var osec alerts, log alerts, alerts.json, right? Alerts now. And then, this particular structure, we will be able to see all the ones from the previous days, right? You can take these and re-inject them back if you were ever to lose data, or if you want to see data that has already been deleted, but from the indexer, but it's available. The way to do it is rather simple. Basically, you go to the blog and you look for the re-injection script, and that's it. You configure file beats to listen into an additional file, and make sure that you point the script to do that same, to re-inject that data there. So, for example, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and delete. This is my environment, yes. Go into index management, delete the data from one of these days. So indices, and then let's delete the data from the 6th, right? Actually, I can't do it from here. I do need to do it from the dev tools. Let's go ahead and delete that data, and we'll see how that data is missing and then how we can get it back. And then we do have to take several special considerations. So we'll do that as we go. Okay, acknowledge true. Oh no, my data is deleted. If we go back and look over the last 7 days, considering that this environment was created on Monday, I will see data from Monday to Wednesday, and then suddenly stop. And then we'll make sure that we can increase it. Let's actually remove sample data, because sample data is from the last 7 days, and that will hinder our exercise here. So if I go back into security events, again, into the last 7 days, we'll see that there is a significant gap here, right? So data suddenly jumps down. If I zoom in into that, I will be able to see a bit closer that we, had data up until the 5th at some point, and then back again. If we want to see it, I think it's better to see it in the events, since it's a different kind of graph. Here we go. And good thing is you can use this sort of to get a good idea of what is the time range that you need to look into. So, for example, one way to go about it would be to first see, well, what is the time frame here, right? And also, when you are re-injecting, you do need to make sure that you're re-injecting using the manager's clock, right? Don't get fooled by this. For example, if I look into the most recent event over here, that is going to tell me that is at 16:23. That is, okay, no. In this case, since I only deleted Wazuh alerts, not Wazuh alerts IDS, I'm getting a little bit more information here that I wanted to. I still get some info on July 6th, right? So that's important to take into consideration. In any case, the Wazuh alerts alone, we would have to see, well, where do we start and where do we finish? Once we have determined that, we can go ahead and come here, take this Python script, paste it into our manager and managers. This is something that you will need to do on every one of your single managers that you have. Okay, so we go ahead and do recovery.python over here. Right, there we go. Very simple script. And then, well, in my case, I'm just going to do it on the worker and on the master manager. We configure a file beat to listen into the file that we need. So this is what we're going to change. We're going to change the alerts manifest pipeline to include the recovery.json. Okay. And so let's go ahead and, no. It's going to be easier if I copy this first. There we go. And in here, we're going to add the other file that we're going to listen into. Okay. Recovery.json. Once that is done, we are ready to start. Well, we do need to restart the file beat to make sure it would be a good idea to create the file always. Although I do believe file beat is quite smart in knowing where how to start listening into a file, even if it's not there yet. So if we run again lsof, just to make sure, we see that that file is being read by FileBeat. So we are ready to run that command. We can, of course, make it executable or directly run it with whichever version of Python we prefer, run the recovery. And we do have several options, including, well, since when do we want to start listening in? So we want to start in from 2022, 07, 06, T00:00:00. This must be in the time zone of the Wazuh manager, okay? And remember that Kibana will have a different timestamp. Then we go for max, and we can go either for the last second of that date, or go for the first second of the next day. Right? It's going to be easier to type. Finally, we tell it what's the output file. It's going to be that recovery file. Cool. Tap completion helps it. And that's it. You can specify a different path, and this will be useful, for example, when you're trying to re-inject information from cloud or your production into a dev environment, which is going to be very useful for making sure that you don't mess with the production environment, or in the case of cloud, you do not have the ability to re-inject due to restrictions that we have on data integrity. And that's it. I want to show how this is going to appear. So I'm going to go ahead and move over into the beginning of the day. However, I am running this on the manager's UTC. My clock is not. So this is going to it shows 2 hours of data where it doesn't really have in UTC. This is older data. And that's it. So right now, no matter how much I refresh, I get always 4,136 events. If I go ahead and stop running this, I should start seeing that number go up, and it will start populating them. I think by default, it must have told us here that it has a maximum of, it doesn't say, but the default is 300 events per second of that script. So it doesn't send them all at once, but it will go one by, So it's already populated that. Why did we get so many alerts and then suddenly stop? That's always interesting to look at. But yeah, here we go. So we've recovered that data. And of course, in a small environment, that is very fast. But in a real environment with millions of alerts per day, that will take a little bit of time, and it is intentionally self-paced. Okay. And then, of course, if I want to do this for my worker node, it is just a matter of repeating the same process. Right. So I have to go worker, go into my alerts YAML, this one, manifest, and perform the same thing. Bear in mind that each worker, since they are working separately, will have a different set of alerts. And actually, I think that is why we have so many alerts and suddenly none, because I think at this point of the training, most of my agents were connected to the worker node. So recovery.json, I'll restart Alwin. Let's touch that just in case. JSON. let's create the recovery.py. Bring it over the script. Of course, it's it's Python. You can see it easily here. It's not too fancy. It's just something that will read into the files by Wazuh, and then start going slowly through the events. And what I mean slowly is just self-pacing it so that it doesn't take up too many resources. Okay, so that's it. That's it. So let's do this again. Of course, make sure that your clocks make sense in both places. And that's gonna be it. Could reinject several days of data? Yes. In this case, it's always one of the interesting drawbacks, or I don't know, design, is that it only looks for compressed files. So if you happen to have some sort of outage where Wazuh didn't compress a file, in one of these log files, it will not find it. Okay, so that's actually interesting. If you happen to have it's looking only for .json.gz. In a local environment where you have your test environment, you might find yourself that those files under var ossec logs alerts and then all that the 2000 blah 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 are not compressed, right? And this is because the compression, the rotation of these logs are done every day at midnight. Okay. And so if your system is offline at that time, which my test instance always is, or almost always, hopefully, those won't be compressed. And so this script will not work. Okay, you will need to simply gzip them before you try to run the recovery action on them. So yeah, although if you are already working with a set of data that does not have that wasn't working all the time, then yeah, it's might have something more complicated there. So here we go. Again, we were left at 7,000 with the worker node, sorry, with the master node. And if I hit here, ooh. Interesting. What are we looking at? 2002, July 6. Oh, look at that. This is the perfect example. Oh, because I stopped. Yes, I stopped my worker process after we finished the following pipeline exercise because I didn't want to have to do the work twice, and this was my way of not having to do that. Just remove everybody from the worker node by simply shutting it down. So yeah, as you can see, this is very important. The exact example I wanted to just mention. If it's not there, it's not going to be compressed. It's not going to work without a compressed file.